Welcome to a new episode of Digital Marketing with Halfdan and Christian. So this episode, we're going to talk about, well, it's kind of a big promise because we actually named this video the most overlooked free distribution for B2B companies right now. Do you think we're promising too much with that, Tinyo?
We're promising a lot, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's too much. I don't think it's too much
N-
because this is a good
n-
one.
This is a great one. And it's actually one where I'll admit I was not the first one to actually use this. The function was launched and then it probably took me a year until I made it. We had to have one of our mutual friends suggest to us, hey guys, you should probably make one of these. And then when I did, it's one of those cases where you're kind of mad at yourself for not like doing this earlier, like seeing how great this is. It's kind of how I feel when I bought my first bicycle to the basement. So I started cycling a lot. I thought, wow, I should have done that 5 years earlier. That's how I think of this. So what we're going to be talking about is LinkedIn newsletters. And I'm sure there's probably a few people listening in right now that says, well, I don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. But the thing is, a lot of people actually do. And for the marketing of Obsidian in both Denmark, Finland, and Germany, where we're active right now, LinkedIn is one of the best channels we have available. Interestingly enough, most of our value on LinkedIn comes at no cost because we use the organic distribution tools, which we're also going to talk about today, a specific one. We actually don't have a lot of success with LinkedIn advertising. I'll be honest about that. Like we mostly do Facebook advertising, but LinkedIn's free distribution is amazing. So, Jinyo, can you give a brief introduction? What are we going to talk about here?
We're going to talk about the LinkedIn newsletter, and we'll start defining why we even are spending time talking about this. So let's start from the top regarding distribution. Why is it so important? Why are we even looking at the LinkedIn newsletter? We have been saying for quite some time that distribution is the gold. It is the new gold in this AI internet era. Because if you have the eyeballs of your potential clients, well, then unless you're a douche, you probably will succeed in whatever you're trying to do. And we don't assume that you are a douche. So as long as you have the eyeballs, and the eyeballs comes with distribution. And in order to cut through the AI nose, which is getting harder and harder because AI is getting quite good at writing stuff, just like we are. So we have to find other ways to do this. The distribution part of your personal brand or the brand of your company, you should start it now, because I'm not saying that it's too late tomorrow, but it was better to start a couple of years ago.
That's the provocative Chinese proverb saying that you probably should have like planted that tree 40 years ago, but the next best time to do that is now. So it's true, like in the world where everybody can create average content, the winner is the one that has the distribution. We see that again and again and again. We've been able to launch new products in Obsidian and market and scale them because of our distribution. That's a topic to another day. But the thing about distribution is it can be costly. The easiest distribution is to just buy ads. So you can buy TV advertising, Facebook advertising, Google advertising. That's distribution, but it's costly. LinkedIn newsletters are a free form of distribution, and they work amazingly well. So what is a LinkedIn newsletter? Let me show you here. We both have one today, but mine has a bit more statistics on it. So that's what we're going to be using for today. So on my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that if you scroll down just a little bit, it'll say under featured a newsletter. The newsletter is called marketingpod.dk new episodes. This is our Danish podcast. And we made a newsletter for this a bit more than a year ago, where the basic promise is that every time we post a new podcast episode on Mondays of our Danish podcast, we will then create a LinkedIn newsletter for it. And I have 3,300 subscribers. And here's the first thing about LinkedIn newsletters. So contrary to a regular newsletter, you don't own the subscribers here. So I cannot go in and like export this list. I can, but that's called scraping. It's done manually, but it is possible. But I cannot export the emails of this newsletter. So I'm building on top of LinkedIn's profile or the LinkedIn's platform here. So I can see that all of these people are actually following my newsletter, but I cannot export them and put them into HubSpot. So my distribution is limited to LinkedIn. That's the drawback of doing this, because if I had them on a newsletter, like a regular newsletter where I would have their emails, I would then be able to take this to another platform. I'm not able to do that here. So if I at some point violate LinkedIn's guidelines to a degree that they're interested in throwing me off the platform, I would then lose the access to this newsletter. So that would kind of really suck if that happened, but I don't think it's going to happen. But the thing is, I can actually see who is subscribed to my newsletter. And that's the first benefit of the LinkedIn newsletter, because what I can do here, say I want to do B2B sales. If I had like a week where I don't have enough to do, and I'm interested in finding some new leads, I think the first thing I would do would be to just take the people on this list and then start connecting with them and saying, hey, thanks for following my newsletter on LinkedIn. Are there anything specifically you're interested in? And then you might have the ball rolling there and have a conversation. And I can see actually someone here who applied for me and someone there. So I might as well just go through this and actually accept invitations as well.
Oh,
But that's
look
the
at
first
me.
thing.
Look how popular I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
you planned at those.
Does
You
your
just
newsletter
waited.
look like
You
this?
waited for 2 weeks to accept those those invitations just so you could show off here. We know that was the
Yeah.
case.
Do you want to show how many invitations you have? No, that's for a different episode as well. But could you imagine, like, if you actually had a free calendar and were looking to do some sales? I'd consider this to be a pretty relevant source already here. Do you agree on this?
That would be what consultants would call the lowest hanging fruits. And we are consultants, so let's just call it that. Those are the lowest hanging fruits.
Let's move on to the actual intended use case of newsletters. So the thing is, you can write newsletters here. So how you do this is you go to the newsletter page here, you say create a new edition. There we go. And then you create your newsletter. So you add like a cover image, you create a title, you create your newsletter. You can embed stuff here like YouTube videos or Spotify episodes or what you want to do. And then when you're done, you get a newsletter that will look like this. So here we have my newsletter, and it's going to look pretty much like this. If you didn't own it as well, you just wouldn't have the edit article, view stats, and view posts up here. So there's like an image, a title. This is something I made in our newsletter to link to our podcast episode, and then a short description of what this episode is about. And then you have like likes and comments. So once you make the newsletter, it actually functions as a regular LinkedIn post, except for one very big difference. And this is where the distribution from LinkedIn really kicks in. And this is where newsletters become kind of amazing. And this is also where I honestly don't understand how they can actually do this, because this is almost too much value that LinkedIn is giving me for free, if I'm being honest here. The thing is, when you send out a newsletter, if I just click view stats here, LinkedIn will actually send an email to a lot of the people who are subscribed to my newsletter. So even though I can't see their email, LinkedIn can see their email. So this particular newsletter, you can see I have around 3,300 subscribers on it. And this one sent an email to 2,094 of them with a 49% open rate. And Senor, how good is a 49% open rate on a newsletter where you didn't even pay anything?
Oh, you guys, this is the golden nugget. This is the golden nugget. This is amazing. And as you could see in the article Halfdan just showed, he actually put the links to the YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the top, because when people get the email in their inbox, in their normal inbox, not the LinkedIn inbox, and this is the gold nugget, in their normal inbox, they'll actually get the links they can click on. This is just, it does not cap. It just not, it allows us to send the links to, for example, YouTube, and a 49% open rate. That is, yeah.
Take a look at this. This is where I'm subscribed to my own newsletter. Of course, you have to be. So this is the thing. Like, I received this email, and then you actually can see the entire article. And it'll say, like, join the conversation. I don't care if people join the conversation. I care if they click these free links. So the links that you post in your newsletter will go out as like immediate, like direct links on the email client. Like, there's no redirect here. It just links directly to the links that I actually posted. And this is absolutely amazing. Just to like say what happened here. Like, I have around 17,000 followers on LinkedIn. So when I created this newsletter, I have around 3,300 people who subscribe to this. So LinkedIn gave me free distribution to gain around 20% of my followers as newsletter followers. And I've had this newsletter for a year, but like 80% of them came on the first day. Because when you make a newsletter, LinkedIn will notify every single connection you have that you've made this new newsletter. So I immediately got 2,000 on the first day. And then it's grown a little bit every time we send out So LinkedIn gave me free distribution, 2,500 subscribers, which have now grown to almost 3,500. And every time we post a newsletter, they'll send out an email directly to around 2/3 of the people who subscribe, which will then click the link. That's enormous,
Yeah.
enormous free distribution. That's crazy. And Tinyu, you actually made a newsletter fairly recently as well. So you have around, is it close to 10,000 followers? Yeah, 8,500, and you've immediately gone to 833. So immediately 10% of everybody who followed you started to subscribe to this newsletter. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, exactly. So people listening, watching this, thinking about, are we saying this because you should do this instead of having an ordinary newsletter list? Well, the short answer is no.
No.
But the longer answer to this is right now there's just such a good opportunity on LinkedIn to get some extra or free distribution because LinkedIn is actually pushing this quite hard. And why is that so? Well, of course, LinkedIn will earn more money when people are active on the platform, reading stuff in there. So that is why there's this opportunity right now. But as Halfdan said in the start, you do not own the list. LinkedIn does. If you had made your own newsletter list, obviously you would own that. But the thing is, if you saw what we did with in terms of linking out to our YouTube channel, I see a lot of other people actually linking to their landing page where people can sign up for their ordinary or normal newsletter list. So this is like a way to build free distribution to funnel up your ordinary newsletter list, if that is what you want to do. We just want more views on our YouTube channel, so that's why we use it like that. But why not use this free extra distribution boost that LinkedIn is giving us?
Yeah, I agree very much. You still need like your regular newsletter. We still have a HubSpot platform in Obsidian. So we have our 25,000 marketing permissions in HubSpot. Those have even more value. But the thing is, like, we just have to make one newsletter and we immediately convert 10 to 20% of the people who follow us. Why would we not do that? Like, I can't imagine a single thing where we, with the same effort, which is basically no effort, gain as much value as we do from here. So it's just like an additional distribution and reach on top of what we already do. And for a long time, we've actually only been posting newsletters for our Danish podcast on Mondays. And we can see in our statistics, Monday always gets more listens than Thursdays. And it's not because Monday is inherently a better day than Thursday. I think most people would argue they prefer Thursday because then there's one day to the weekend. But the thing is, like on Monday, we posted the newsletter on LinkedIn. It would be sent to 2,000 people, which are more people than we have on our own marketing bot newsletter. A lot more. So LinkedIn gave us more distribution for free than we were able to generate for our own on this podcast. And that, of course, makes a huge difference when then 2,000 or 2,500 people get an email with a link directed to the new episode. Yes, they will click that. We can easily see they will click that. Now, we recently started doing it on Thursday as well, because when you have something that works, you should do more of it. That's actually how you become really good at marketing. So before we had one newsletter for me, now we have one newsletter for you. So now we're doing it 2 times. Then there's an additional detail that I want to mention here, because the thing is, like, I know some people listening would say, okay, that makes a lot of sense, but I actually don't have a very active personal profile. Can I do this on my company page instead? And the first thing to say about that is it's a mistake that you don't have an active profile. You definitely should have an active profile. But with that being said, yes, you can actually do this on your page as well. So if you go to your LinkedIn page because you're scared of showing who you truly are, so you hide behind company posts all of the time, which is definitely a mistake from a marketing perspective, but hey, you do you. You can go to newsletter in the left side here, and then you can create a newsletter. And we've actually done 2 newsletters in Obsidian on the Obsidian page. So we have this one, which is like free ads you can copy today. So this is a newsletter specifically for our design as a service product. This is great. We also have a different newsletter for invitations to marketing events. So as you can see, if I just scroll down a little bit here, we just created some events. So they take up the most recent organic posts. Let's see if I can find one here somewhere. There we go. This is our event newsletter. So I've made a newsletter for the Obsidian page called Marketing Events from Obsidian. And Obsidian has 11,500 followers, and immediately we got 2,000 subscribers to this newsletter. That's additional distribution to the newsletter we already made on our personal profiles. So every time we send a newsletter out here, the same thing happens. So let me show you an example. This is an invitation we send out to a webinar, and we're going to take the same content and send that out in our HubSpot as a regular invitation sent on email. But we also send it out on the LinkedIn newsletter. And as you can see here, it works the same way. We have 2,500 people subscribed, and it sent an additional 1,783 email sends with a 50% email open rate. This is better statistics than we have on our own newsletter. We don't have 50% open rate on our own newsletter. We send to more people, sure, but the engagement here is amazing. And here it'll say like we only got 16 engagement from LinkedIn. But the thing is, you don't have to care about that because we just send an email to 1,800 people, and the people who click this email don't count in this organic engagement. This is only on platform engagement. So the people clicking the link in the actual newsletter sent to their email will not count. And that's why this works amazingly well. So even if you don't have an active profile, you can do this on your company page and then immediately get the same distribution that LinkedIn is offering to personal profiles. And then you'll just build it up as an asset on the company instead. If you don't want to be personal, or if you're worried about people leaving the company, you can build this up as an asset on the company page instead. And it works just as fine. So there's like no excuse for not doing this, even though honestly, I would actually prefer you didn't, because this works so well right now that I'm afraid.
Just forget what we just told you guys. Just forget it. Let us handle this.
Don't create a LinkedIn newsletter. No, seriously, this works so well right now that I'm kind of worried that, marketers ruin everything. So once people figure out how well this works, they will start doing it more, because you can't afford not to be honest. There is no other B2B distribution platform as qualified that will give you as much reach instantly and free. This is the most overlooked B2B distribution method right now. I'm saying it. I'm coming out with it. Shoot me in the comments and let me know if you have a better one, but I don't think you have. Thank you for listening to this episode. We're super happy that you follow our show here, and we look forward to publishing the next. We come out every single Monday. Thank you. See you soon.